It's kind of funny. You sat down. You said this is all kind of new to you. So
Yeah.
so what's it like to be the center of attention, a big media scrum, getting a little bit more time to talk about things this time around?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm the center of attention because Misha's sitting right next to me, and she's a lot better looking, and she's got a bigger fight in the grand scheme of things coming up on Saturday. But it's something new. But my job is to go out there and fight on Saturday. So, I'm going to enjoy myself eating here and not having to cut a bunch of weight. It's going to be good to, eat at a place I normally probably couldn't even afford to. So, pretty excited.
Your decision to kind of fight up, do you think that's permanent moving forward? Because at first I kind of thought maybe it was just a one-off experiment, see how it's going. But do you feel like this is the right class for you?
Yeah, I'm no longer in college, so I'm done experimenting. This weight class for me is really good. We were talking a little bit earlier before, and Misha brought up the fact that in a lot of cases speed kills. Speed is the biggest factor, and at 185 I was not bigger than the guys I was fighting. It's not like I had a size advantage on them. I certainly didn't have a speed advantage. So now if I can get a little bit of an advantage against these guys at 205, I'll take it. And I think generally I'm going to be in better condition than they are. If you look at the top 15 guys at 185, they're all really, really tough. And I've already fought one of the top 15 guys at 205 and defeated him. So I have no reservations in my head about making this jump up to 205. I used to fight at 205 before I was in the UFC. My first fight in the UFC was at 205 against a guy who was a mountain of a man, Kyle Kingsbury. And then, I was kind of convinced a little bit by the UFC, a little bit by my management to drop down to 185. And I'll tell you right now, I never grew up when I was a kid saying, I want to be the middleweight champion of the world. I always wanted to be as big as I could be and as good as I could be. And, I don't know if I'll ever make it up to be a legit heavyweight, but light heavyweight's good enough for me.
What's your relationship like with the sport right now? Because, I know that we were just talking to me, you love pro wrestling, and you've been vocal about some of your frustrations about the way things are, but this is, I would think, the biggest opportunity, the biggest fight of your career, so it seems kind of like things are going in different directions, like certain things you like, certain things you don't like. So is it still your passion? Do you have love for it? What is it right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Even more so than a fighter, I'm a fan first. I cover the sport. I love virtually every aspect of it. Being involved on the ground level as a fighter, there's a lot of things that I, think could be improved upon in the sport. But I think people think about whatever career that they're in. So, this is something I've dedicated the past, I would say, 18 years of my life to. When I was 12 years old is when I first saw UFC. It was UFC 2. And I've been a fan ever since then. Everything I did, I began wrestling when I was in high school in the anticipation that later on I was going to want to fight. I continued wrestling in the anticipation that later on I was going to want to fight. So, this is my career, even though it's not over, it's kind of like a culmination of things over the past 20 years. And I'm happy with where I am right now, but there's still a lot of work to be done in my mind.
If your career ended right now, I think people would remember you as the colorful walk-in guy, weigh-in guy. You had a lot of flavor. Is that enough to be memorable as like a character or a fun guy that was fun to watch, or do you feel like you got to accomplish a level of greatness?
Well, it'd be okay with me. If my career ended right now, I have no issues with the way things have gone. Over the years I've been in the UFC, I've tried my hardest. I've fought my heart out. I've been through injuries, I've been through setbacks, and I've tried to always come back from those. But at the same time, it's not something that necessarily defines me as a person. There's a lot of other things I could do in the sport of mixed martial arts that I'm sure I would be happy with, whether it be training or even being across on the side that you guys are on right now on the media side. So it's kind of tough to separate my life into two separate worlds where one, I'm a fan and I can look at the sport and see it for what it is from the outside, and also being involved as a fighter. It's I don't know. It's a tale of two cities, I guess I would say, and I'm not sure which one I want to live in.
What do you think about this matchup? You know the business really well. This is an up-and-coming guy.
Yeah.
Do you ever think like, I'm in here so I can put this guy over?
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people view this as another showcase fight for Corey Anderson. I think in July, a lot of people viewed my fight against Jean Vellante as a showcase fight for him. Fortunately for me and unfortunately for him, it didn't work out that way. And, on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, it's going to be much the same story. I'm a big underdog against Corey Anderson, and that's fine. no different than I have been in the past. I'm undefeated here in Las Vegas, and it's going to remain that way. I was an underdog both times that I fought here, and I won both times. So, going to be more of the same on Saturday.
You talked about like hiatuses and injuries. I mean, 2 years you spent out. What's the road like been for you coming back?
Bumpy and long. It's tough to get back into not so much the physical state of fighting, but the mental state. It does take a special kind of mindset to go out there and fight somebody, lock yourself in a cage for 15 minutes with the expectation that you're going to try to incapacitate the other person and not take as much damage as you can in the process. But, basically came to a point where I need the money, and this is my fastest avenue to getting some money. So I got back into the game, and, here I am, a year later.